So not even 10 days into the new year, and we are already seeing a lot of things happen. Now, the reason I made this meme was because the official USA 250 year of USA 250 is underway, and unfortunately I know deep inside that Philly is still a mess, so I had to make this meme. I was playing Trails in the Sky first chapter, by the way, so I'm sorry because I was I was just on Wednesday was something happened and there was a thumbnail that I made in response to, or maybe Tuesday something happened and there was a thumbnail I made in response. Well, the meaning of that thumbnail is up to you, but let's go through the more serious stuff for today, which is Gran Turismo 7 weekly challenges. Now, I'm going to start the today we have a time trial event. This is new in Spec 3.0, so of this game. So first we're gonna start by going to the weekly challenges, and we're going to go to now before I begin, I'd like to make a clarification. My cousins from Canada are not going to the US because their car is not in good shape to travel hundreds of miles. So I'm sorry for the misinformation earlier. It actually came from someone else in my family, not my cousins. So let's begin by doing the Sunday Cup Classic. Now now also made aware that there was a lot of fear mongering on the internet about hardware prices going up across the board. But what no one's telling you on YouTube is you should actually start. You should use the time when hardware prices are high to study the CompTIA A Plus exam or something. Study to get those certifications because, believe it or not, a lot of people use the same hardware stack as the CompTIA A Plus certifications. A lot of streamers, content creators, they use a really similar stack or something. And oh, I went off track because I was focusing outside, hoping for a weather change, but it's not changing. It's just cloudy outside and unusually warm too. So that's why. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm even going to get get first plot any even pass this one. Oops. I gotta make sure I'm not. Sorry, my focus has been pretty bad today, so. It's using Sports Soft, by the way, which is actually terrible at, at staying stable. It could allow for higher speeds, but has a lot worse. So yeah, I'm trying to get first place on this, but it's looking unusually unlikely. Yup, I think it's over already. This weekly challenge is over. I got third place. I might retry it on a different stream, but well, they were so clustered to each other, and I'm not even. I got third place. That was horrific because I was I was looking at oh, this is disappointing, honestly. But it's kind of what I deserved, honestly. So next we have to go to the next weekly challenge, the Tokyo Expressway, FF450. So we're not going to use this car this time. We'll be using the Integra from 95. And this time we have 3 laps, 10. I want to check the tires because I want something that's a lot better. I now struggle a lot with soft tires. I'm switching to medium tires. So this is a Tokyo Expressway. It's based off the real-life Metropolitan Expressway in Tokyo, by the way. Oh great, it's that district. Oh, whatever. Just going to try to be a little bit better this time. So we have 3 laps, so we cannot monkey around like we used to, or like we did with the other weekly challenge. Now, I'd also like to talk about CompTIA A+ because it's a certification that can outlast hardware trends. And with the lack of technicians that are CompTIA A+ certified, in my view, I mean, there's a lot of Windows techs, but there's also their Linux certification, their IT fundamental certification. I'm not sure why I skipped to A+ for some reason. But I'm happy to report that yesterday I have fixed someone's Nintendo Switch game card reader. It was really good. At least I read the iFixit guide in detail on how to do it. But the problem was actually there's. But the thing is, never mind. But you also have the fact that on the way back to New Jersey yesterday, I misread a train departing for track 12, and as departing for track 2, and then I missed my train. I had to wait an additional 20 minutes to get back to New Jersey. 20-minute headway for a commuter rail system isn't that awful. Like whatever you see with SEPTA in Philadelphia or something. Okay. Now I kind of miss Tokyo, honestly. Thankfully, I'm going back in less than 2 months. So, and because of my certification work, I am actually I don't have to finish a traditional community college semester. That is a waste of time. And on top of that, a scam too. I already highlighted that in a previous stream. So we have, let's see if we can get a sub 140 time, which is just probably impossible with the settings I use. So I'm just going to lower this to 3. Good luck for me because it's really dark in this in the expressway tunnels or something. Oops, I almost hit the barrier, especially because the contrast on my LG TV is very harsh. Like when I had to play Persona 5 and 5 Royal, I literally had to look at my OBS screen instead of the screen for my LG TV screen because now I want to do a stream in HDR today, but YouTube's HDR stack is broken, and I literally had to boot Windows every time I want to film in HDR. I failed to get sub 140, even with my best, and this is far better than the previous one. I got more credits. So yeah, that being said, I saw some comments about a potential video game crash this year, and due to the spike in hardware prices, and the PCMR, you know, that elitist group said, oh, it's business as usual. A video game crash is 3 years overdue, honestly, from my standpoint. And with that being said, speaking of online drama, you also have had an incident in Japan where they filmed a skull fight inside a bathroom. Now, of course, I can't show this here due to potential age restrictions and community guideline strikes, so you gotta take my word for it then. Okay, I might just save the replay because I didn't mention rising storage prices, so. And speaking of fights and all that stuff, you know that anime I mentioned last stream, the Chitose is in the Ramune bottle anime. Episode 10 had some very intense violence for a slice of life anime. So intense that Amazon US and YouTube in the US now lists the anime as a TVMA rating, which is based off the FCC system, by the way. Again, I cannot show what happened in that episode due to 3 reasons: spoilers, copyright, and age restrictions. Oh, let me try again. Sub 57, sub 56.9 actually. Now, I don't think they will make you drive the entire course. They'll probably make you drive only a section of the course. Do not go off the course, because that will disqualify you immediately. I got silver, wow. I got silver, but here's my replay. It's only 52 seconds, but let's look how fast this car is driving. This is actually a pretty expensive car, by the way, in the game. It's probably a unicorn too, so. Yeah, I had to delete my Instagram account because something really bad happened earlier this week, and what happened 5 years ago may happen again, or 6 years ago may happen again tomorrow. So Of course, I can't discuss the specifics here, but that also feeds into why the video game industry might crash this year, possibly before the second half of the year. I anticipate. That's it. And now we're going to save the replay. Okay, we see the reward. Now I'm not sure why I didn't get a check mark. Oh, I do have a check mark. It didn't show up earlier. Now we have the Porsche Cup, which needs a Porsche of 650 or less. I'm gonna take this one, and we have Sports Medium. Any? Nope. It's the same course as before, and there are 5 laps. I'm not using soft tires anymore because it's just very... Oh yeah, I also apologize for not starting to stream on time because I anticipated that I was going to stay awake in the morning, but I ended up sleeping because I didn't get home from New York until like late last night, owing to my my misread of track 12 as track 2, and it cost me an additional 20 minutes, plus the fact that there was a detour on my way home by Uber, so yeah. We're in 13th place, but this car's going actually pretty fast, you know. And here's a painful contrast about what I said earlier. You could still have a city that is that gaslights you, but still has competent like transit, or you could have a city that fails at both governance and transit. I live in an area where the host city is the latter, not the former. Yeah, I remember doing one weekly challenge that involved a very fast car, and my car actually flipped over on one of these corners. I'm not sure if it was last year or 2 years ago, but it was fun in hindsight, actually. There are like some moments that never come back. Almost hit that car by accident. So this will take about 15 minutes based on what I'm seeing. I might lower it to 3 for this lap. And you also have World Touring Car 700 to deal with today, but oh, we gotta change this to 4 because traction control is broken in this. It breaks at a certain level. Maybe I'll have to take a picture of a replacement thumbnail for the stream because I might have been made aware that I may have lost a subscriber due to me using such a thumbnail. So that might be at the end of this stream if I'm not burnt out. almost spun out here, but I got the fastest lap right now. With the expectations of a video game crash, I really think there's only going to be one game that's going to be to survive the game crash, and that's probably Trails in the Sky Second Chapter for the remake for Switch 2, Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Steam, because I do not have any faith in major corporations anymore. Everything feels coordinated, honestly, especially with the memory prices being absurdly high, as well as the Windows 11 memory management still being a mess at the worst time possible, and Windows 10 having been end of life already. So that's why Windows is not an operating system you should trust anymore, and that's why I'm always on Linux as my main operating system for computers. And that's why I refuse to take any certification tests at home, because I take certification tests at home, then I would probably have to install a ton of spyware, which I'm totally against. So we have rain coming, so we gotta be careful. Might need to slow down a bit. Yeah, it's coming. I'll set this to 5 because of potential rain. Feels kind of lonely, honestly. I do get any signals from the from the crew, then I will Now I'm also made aware that the Nintendo Museum is notoriously difficult to get into, because but it's not even worth it either, because if you only have like 1 week to stay in Japan entirely, not a 2 week, not 1 week in the area, but 1 week in Japan for the entire trip, then it's not really worth it. So instead, I suggest you go to a train station along the Tokaido Shinkansen and take pictures of trains passing by at very high speeds. That's a lot better than having to deal with Nintendo Museum lotteries. By the way, I'm also doing this in protest against Nintendo's disastrous Switch 2 launch year. I mean, I was right that Nintendo could not replicate the successful Switch 1 launch year of 2017, because a lot of things had changed for the worse, honestly. I think the total lack of humanity this decade is what's driving me to maximum cynicism. So that means I feel like society will totally annihilate itself before we make it to the end of this decade. Sadly. So count for the rain, because the pavement could still remain wet even after the pavement is after the rain passes. So that's why I decided to drive carefully, because I don't want to spin out and lose my bonuses. I might have lost my bonuses either way, so I feel like the AI bust will also happen by 2030, because people will get fed up with how destructive AI is, honestly. Obviously, I do not want the CEOs of Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Anthropic, OpenAI, and many others to hear this, because I think a bust is coming. It's just not obvious yet. Remember the dot-com bubble burst? That was pretty... I feel like the same thing might happen with the AI bubble burst. Once... By the end of this decade, I assume. Oh, I almost spun out, even with the, yeah, that cost me a bit, honestly. Let's see. Yep, I lost my Queen Race bonus, and I got a 4-star ticket, so... not exactly proud of this. And I'm probably going to skip the replay of this, because I really don't have any web sources to show today. If that was the case, I would have done the stream using, using KVM, and yes, actually, I might have to end the stream early today, because, it turns out a family member just came home. This was definitely in reaction to what may happen tomorrow. So, or what will happen tomorrow, actually. We have normal oil performance, so I'm just gonna change it off stream. This is a 4-star ticket. We can get either a par, an invitation, a car, and we got a par. I just try to say it's expensive, but and we have to get the tickets. Okay, now let's change the oil on this car. And then call it a day. I think that's it for today's stream. That's it for today's narration, so I'll see you later.